It's in-game live with you all right here on SportsGrid on a Wednesday night. Baseball board off and running. Lawrence Butler opens the scoring in this window. We've actually had a couple of games decided already, including the Dodgers being swept again, 6 straight for the World Series favorites. That is not going to be, again, a big panic, but certainly not what that team or fan base was looking for. We've got WNBA. Lionel Messi's going to play some soccer tonight. That might be a big deal. And, of course, we're getting ready for tomorrow's NFL action. It does. The thing about the Hall of Fame game, man, is you try and downplay it, and then you're 24 hours out, and you go, this is the most important game I've ever seen and I've ever bet. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. Gabe, great to be back with you. How are you feeling?
I couldn't wait for the Hall of Fame game, and I put a couple of bets in already for tomorrow night's football game. Listen, every marathon begins with its first step. The step to the Super Bowl begins with the Hall of Fame game, right? Basically for fans, right? Training camp is the beginning for players, but this is the process. We go through the excitement of the preseason, being here and seeing our favorite teams play for the first time, to 2 weeks into the preseason, absolutely hating and loathing the preseason and going, God, I can't wait until this is over. And next thing you know, the regular season is here. But yeah, a lot of stuff to break down tonight, Kevin. But let's start off with the WNBA, because we know how they roll when it comes to player props and tip-offs. So I want to get after it here. Kelsey Plum had an immediate impact in her Phoenix Mercury debut. She went off, and she only played 20 minutes. We gave you the over 1.5 3-point shots made at the end of the show on the way out. She went 3 for 5 from the field. It's 1.5 again tonight, guys. I'm going right back, not to the window, but to my computer, and I'm going, or to my cell phone, and I'm going over 1.5 3-point shots made. 15 or more points, Kevin, at minus 155, to me was too good to pass up for Kelsey Plum tonight as well. So 14.5 or more for Kelsey. And I'll tell you what, I think the Mercury have good players. They should be better than they are, actually. Now you have Kelsey Plum on the team. Unlike the Atlanta Dream, Phoenix actually cover point spreads. And Atlanta win, but they've been 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 for a while now. Like, they don't cover numbers. They just don't. And, you know, maybe the odds makers are catching up to it because it's only 6.5 tonight. I get it, but I can't pass it up, and I think the Mercury are going to take this game down to the wire tonight. And you know my girl in the Pacific Northwest has become Flo J, and all she does is score. We'll see if she can do it again tonight. 15 or more for Flo J. Johnson.
Yeah, Gabe, really my only complaint with your card is that, again, unless I missed it, you're not going back to Angel Reese. I want to be very
right. Do I have time for
I
this?
want to be,
yeah. There's just so much going on.
No, guys, and you hear the reaction.
Rebounds.
I want to listen. No, there's no such
and
thing.
I didn't
as
get
like,
it to Hamby. I got picks for later, Kevin, too. I love the WNBA prop card tonight.
Guys, Angel Reese, 27.5 points and rebounds again. Last 3 games, 34, 34, 39. And 39 was against Vegas in 27 minutes.
I didn't get it in. They tipped off right on time.
I played the points and rebounds. Gabe's been playing the rebounds. Either way,
I'm not gonna lie, Kevin.
I'm back on Angel Reese.
I have a hard time forgetting she's not on Chicago, bro. I didn't think of her. Like, I sort of looked at Atlanta and I went full Phoenix. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, Kelsey Plum. And, you know, I went, oh, yeah, plus the points. And, God, I just left the rebounds on the table. Yeah, Angel Reese's automatic rebounds over. What was it, 11.5 again?
I told, like, I've been playing the point rebound game, and I got a 27.5. I've gotten the same number every game out of the break. I don't know how that's possible. It's very interesting
tied
to me.
Griner. I saw she just tied Brittany Griner for, like, you know, a rebounding record type of deal. And it was a good point that somebody pointed out, saying Brittany Griner 6'9", Angel Reese 6'4". It's a big difference.
Yep. Yeah.
She really is. She's the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA. She is.
Yeah, Moses Malone.
You know
I know
she's probably a better offensive player than Dennis Rodman was. As crazy as that sounds.
Right. It's the rebound. The rebounding. I mean, she averages 5 offensive rebounds a game. offensive rebounds a game. It's
the
just
Toronto Tempo, I watched their game last night. They had 1 offensive rebound in the entire game, their team. I'm not exaggerating.
It's very funny because I now fully expect to hit their win total under.
Win total under. I'm going to sound like Mike Ditka. I don't know if we're going to win another game.
No, that's what yeah.
Hey,
but here's
they had a 13-point lead last night too.
It's
the weirdest team in the history of basketball.
They're getting under my skin. They're getting under my skin a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I had that under last night to give up 31 points in the third quarter. It's just crazy. Like, there was 57 points in the third quarter, and the game went over by 3 points. Like,
they're the strangest team ever, though, Kevin. They went on a 16-0 run to start the second quarter, and then they basically scored 16 points for the next 25 minutes.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
The game just creeped over. It got there 175 type deal.
Yeah, it's just they're driving me nuts. They are a total mess right now. Look, it is what it is. I left that New York-Seattle game alone. I want to get into it live, I think. Because part of me was like, how do I play the over? But is it going to be that easy? Back-to-back games. I did play out, since we're doing the W, I'll just mention now, 7:30. I like Paige Beckers for 2 made threes. Even money on this. She just scored 6 points her last game. First time she didn't get to double digits all season long. Only took 1 3. I think that's why we're getting the number we're getting. I think it's a really good number. So I'm on Paige Beckers for 2 made threes against Washington. Baseball-wise, we're often running in a few spots. I did play Baltimore on the money line. And I did play a total that's coming up here, which is an under between Sonny Gray and Sean Burke. I think Sonny Gray is being disrespected with this getting up to 8.5. I think Sean Burke's being disrespected with this getting up to 8.5. Sean Burke's a big part of this White Sox team being what they are. They feel pretty good when they throw him out there every 5 days. We mentioned Sonny Gray is still the wins leader in Major League Baseball, maybe right there in terms of the top of the sport. So I played an under 8.5 tonight at Fenway, Gabe.
Yeah, I played an under 8.5 tonight as well, but I was going to say at Fulton County Stadium, but that would probably be dating myself, right? That was only 40 years ago or something. And nobody changes stadiums as much as the Braves do, but whatever their stadium is called now in Atlanta, the Marlins and Braves. I'll tell you what, I think the total is too high. We saw last night 6 runs scored in this game.
Good pick.
There's always these pitchers that'll fly under the radar that are having good seasons, but you don't really know it, even if you looked at their numbers kind of. But Yuri Perez is one of them. He's been really solid over his last, I'll say 8 starts, 10 starts. And in fact, to be exact, over his last 9 starts, he's only, he's given up 1 run or less in 7 of them. He gave up 2 runs once and 3 runs another time. You have Elder on the other side of this, who's pretty consistent as well. I'm going to pull the trigger on the under, and I did pull the trigger on the under 8.5 in that baseball game. I'm going to ride the hot hand here with the Boston Red Sox, although I might be flying too close to the sun once again here with the Red Sox, but a fair price at -130, and a rarity that Paul Skeens is an underdog, but the market is starting to catch up right now, and I'll take the Milwaukee Brewers tonight.
I actually, Gabe, it's funny. I fading Skeens in a different fashion, but I played over 7. Guys, Paul Skeens starts don't need to necessarily be a flat 7 these days. You guys know last week I bet a Skeens start. The final score of the game was 8-7. Both teams got, you know what I mean? So I thought the flat 7 was a little generous. I want to mention the Atlanta Braves because the Dodgers have been snuck up on a little bit. We'll get into that after. me to dive a little deeper into what I was talking about with the Atlanta Braves, who are on a 6-game winning streak, and how it relates to the LA Dodgers on a 6-game losing streak. For a while, we've talked on this show about how it does not feel like the Dodgers are playing up to their potential, yet they still have the best record in baseball, still have the best run differential in baseball. What's going to happen if they ever start to play up to their potential? And that is, of course, on the board. But the Dodgers all of a sudden have the third best record in baseball. You can say I'm cheating. It's really a game in the loss column to Atlanta. It is 2 games to Milwaukee. And I'm well aware that the Los Angeles Dodgers last season had the third best record in the National League, with the Brewers and Phillies finishing above them. But I know from my conversations with Gabe, he doesn't want to be playing in that opening round. Last year they played a Reds team that kind of limped in, stole a spot from the Mets, and they obviously, dispatched that team very easily. Maybe this year it won't be as easy, especially with the odds suggesting an NL West team would be the 6th seed. That does seem to be the Dodgers' bugaboo a little bit when they have to play one of these division teams. I don't know what it is. It's like they see them so much, they're too comfortable. Arizona, San Diego, San Francisco. Not San Francisco this year, but just kind of historically. I'm not saying Dodgers panic button. I'm certainly not saying there's a team in the sport that should be favored over them. I'm just making a note that all of a sudden, Gabe, the 6-game losing streak for the Dodgers that happens to every team in this sport has now found them with the third best record in the National League.
Yeah, it's not just this streak. It's the fact they've lost 13 of their last 21 baseball games, which is another reality. They're 8-13 in their last 21 games, right? They just keep losing. Yet it was sort of one of those going into the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break. And if there was one team that the All-Star break did hurt, because despite all the injuries, the Dodgers were rolling along, Kevin. Right? They were actually potentially going to hit their win total, which not a lot of people wanted to bet. Right? There wasn't a single team that won 100 games last year in baseball. And the Dodgers were at 104.5. I didn't even bet it. I was like, yeah, because I don't think they care about it. That's the whole thing. They care more about health than anything else. But let's be real. I mean, this is one of the reasons why the Dodgers are ruining the sport, is one of the most overplayed sports cliches and takes in the business right now. I mean, what are they overtaking? They just got swept. They just got swept 2 times in a row. The Atlanta Braves have won 68 games. The Dodgers have won 69 right now. So are the Dodgers running away with anything? Right? You're talking about the Milwaukee Brewers. They've won more games, right? They've won, but it's the money. Money doesn't run, money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy love. And money doesn't automatically buy championships either. It's not that simple. There's no panic, though. For me, Kevin, the only thing that's frustrating if you're a Dodger fan right now is if you did bet the season win total. Really. In the grand scheme of things, none of this really matters. They're going to get back home, and they're going to go on another run, and they are getting guys back as well, right? Just point blank. Not to mention they got Skubal in the rotation now moving forward. Snell has done his 2 rehab starts and has looked good in both of them. They're being patient. It might be one more type of deal with Snell, but Snell's coming back basically in the next 10 days, whatever, right? Glasnow's around the corner. Glasnow's been, he's been doing baseball activities and throwing the ball and all that. So, yeah, it's not a fun run right now, but this happens to every team. It's a little magnified because of the Dodgers, but it is frustrating. And I think, I watch almost every pitch of this series, guys, against the Cubs. And Cubs are a good baseball team, right? They play good baseball. I could just sort of imagine a Cubs-Dodgers playoff series and how electric it's going to be at Wrigley and Chavez Ravine. Can't wait for the playoffs to get here.
What I will say, and we've had this conversation before, what I didn't want to happen with the Dodgers, and I do think it is probably more injury than anything else.
Yeah, there's something else I wanted to bring up, that they've lost these games. It's not their rotation, right? They're losing, none of the dudes, a lot of these dudes, you think Eric Lauer's going to be starting games in the playoffs? No. Emmett Sheen's going to be coming out of the pen. Wroblewski's going to be coming out of the pen. right? Like they've been rolling out like this sort of, B list and D list rotation for a month now, a month and a half now. That's going to catch up. And last thing, Kevin, you asked me the other day, and it was a spur of the moment question. And obviously Ohtani's sort of that, he's, they look up to him. Like you got a Mookie Betts, you got a bunch of Hall of Famers on that team, but they're all in awe of Ohtani. So Ohtani's sort of like, their secret weapon, so to speak. But I think, Kevin, when you ask me who's the most important player, it would concern me if they don't have, and I did bring him up, but I think you're seeing right now, Will Smith. I think he's one of the most underrated players in baseball, bro. Like from his clutchness, look at his average with runners in scoring position. Like his sacrifice flies. Like he's automatic. Guy on third, he'll just drill it, line drive to center field on the first pitch. Boom. There's your run. To calling a game behind the plate, to getting calls, to like working the staff, he's just one of those team leaders, bro. Right? He's like the glue of the team. And they kind of got by with rushing because rushing is so good. He's just a badass young player, but it's catching up to them now a little bit. You lose rushing and you lose Will Smith. It's big offense you're losing. I don't care. Like you brought it up with Ohio State defensively, right? You saw it with the Georgia Bulldogs. Oh no, we don't rebuild, we reload. It's like, yeah, but you just lost 38 players over the last 2 years, so it's going to catch up to you, and it did. Right? The Michigan Wolverines, Kevin, won the championship. We lost 23 players to the NFL. Like, caught up. Like, it can't be as good, too. It's going to catch up to you.
But this is what I wanted to say, though, when people talk about ruining the sport, and this is something that the Warriors did. They stacked the deck, and then they didn't give us an exciting regular season performance, and then the playoffs showed up, and everybody said, what are you talking about? There's no one that can touch them. How stupid. And I told you I didn't want this if this was what the Dodgers season was going to be. Now, I'm not ignoring the injuries, but what I didn't want was them to have the third best record in baseball, the most talented roster of all time, and then we go, none of it really matters, guys.
I would rather that than them winning 122 games and getting bounced in the wild card in the playoffs by what?
Live on SportsGrid, some WNBA off and running, baseball as well. But in probably more like 15 minutes, unless, Gabe, they're starting these Leagues Cup games immediately, but I don't think they are. The return of Leo Messi to, just the soccer stage here. Inter Miami in this Leagues Cup are monster favorites, but as you know all too well, biggest favorite on the slate yesterday were your Vancouver Whitecaps, who lost at BC Place, right? Not just like didn't get a result, but lost outright.
If you want to make some money right now over the last couple of weeks, just be betting against the Vancouver Whitecaps and the LA Dodgers. Both my teams are getting lit up. And same thing. Post-World Cup, it's been a disaster. They haven't won. They haven't won a match. Right? In the last, 6 games, the Whitecaps have won once, and it was against, the Calgary Cavalry. All right? They beat a CSL team, and it wasn't easy. They came back late type of deal. I was at the game on Saturday. They actually played relatively well against LAFC, who are good. But it was a 1-1 draw. They didn't win the game. And last night, that was an embarrassment. Let's just call it out for what it is. But they rolled out like a D-list lineup, right? That's the frustrating part about this tournament. You don't really know what teams, are they into it? And I thought the Whitecaps think they're good enough that they can win with the lineup. And then, if we have to, we'll bring guys in. And then they brought guys in, and then it was too late. They couldn't score. They had 70% of the possession, Kevin. But Minnesota lost last night to Juarez on their home pitch. The MLS started off well last night with a couple of wins, but when it was all said and done, I think the Mexican teams ended up winning 3 of the 5 games last night. The Salt Lake game was enjoyable last night. But as far as Messi is concerned, they got Rodri as well, Kevin. I wish Inter Miami would just F off and get out of my life, but I might as well just make money on them as long as they're here. It's very frustrating. I thought there was a salary cap in MLS. Evidently there isn't for them. Because I don't really understand. They're basically they're like the Argentinian national team. But whatever, it is what it is. And they're playing a team tonight that has really struggled to start the season in the Liga MX. I already have them in a parlay, Inter Miami tonight, but I think they're going to win by 1.5 goals. They like winning these things. They pay Messi a lot of money, Kevin. They like winning trophies. They won the MLS Cup. They've gone far in these things before. Messi's trying to rack up as many trophies as he can on the way out. So he is playing. He's expected to start tonight. He came in the 53rd minute over the weekend, just to sort of get some, to get some minutes in a 2-2 draw. And now he's expected to play tonight as Miami are taking this Leagues Cup seriously.
Yeah, I was a little tempted to play a first half over because I don't know, to kind of the way you laid it, how much of Messi are we getting over the 90 minutes, right? Especially if they actually can live up to the level of favorite that they are.
If there was ever in-game, Kevin, that was made for a tournament, it's this, dude. Dude, last night I was watching the game, Salt Lake. I just got a feel for it. I was like, all right, my own eye test. I see this game. Now I know. You got to watch these games, man. It's a weird tournament.
I'm pretty sure Luis Suarez is I know he's not starting. I don't think he's even on the bench.
No, he's out. He's out.
So, that's kind of, again, that's where the goals can dry up potentially in this game. So whether it's, hey, we're going to be here for a while, we can bet this thing live, or, do we play a first half over? Those seem to be kind of the two things that would speak to me. I don't know if I'm, my Inter Miami are minus 165 to be leading at the break.
Well, look, Kevin, the total's 3.5. 3.5, right? So and it's minus 175 to the over. And I saw earlier today it was 4.5, but it was plus money, whatever, plus 110, and what is it, 4.5 now? Plus 137 to 4.5. They're expecting a lot of goals here. Now, I know that Inter Miami are not, if they have one fault is they will surrender and concede goals. All right. But with that being stated, really, how they not win by 1.5? If the book is thinking, there's probably going to be 5 goals here. Is this a 3-2 game? I don't think so. right? It might be 4-2, could be 3-1, right? Could be, you know, I doubt it's 3-0. I doubt it's even 2-0. I think we're going to get to at least 3, but I don't think we get to 5. But at 4.5, like, I'd be careful, Kevin, of like trying to get cocky with the under here.
All right, interesting spot. We'll update you with the WNBA slate. With you guys right back here on SportsGrid. And I guess I should have known for an Inter Miami game. Oh, it just started. Gotta be kidding me. So what? The Messi game start on time? Really?
They were playing. Well,
whatever, man. Whatever. I mean, that just really.
You know what?
That
though?
Just really bothered me.
It hasn't started
really
yet. It's off the board for you. It hasn't started yet.
On the book that was offering team shots on target.
Oh, okay.
Now
okay.
I gotta go.
See, once again, you waited too long. You overplayed yourself. You were shopping around.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like to do. You know me. You know me. Listen, I like to stroll
There's
through
no
the
way
aisles.
they're starting right on time. Like, no, they haven't.
No, it doesn't even make sense.
They haven't kicked off
Now I gotta go.
Yet.
Now I gotta go look around. No, you gotta be kidding me. What do you like? Corners in the? I'm so annoyed. I'm not even doing a bit. I'm so annoyed.
Messi to score first is plus 200.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna do it just for the sake of it. If you can't beat him, bet him. If you can't beat him, bet him. That's my theory.
Yeah. Corners are light here. No.
What is the corner?
9.5. That seems.
You know, so one bet I did hit last night in the Whitecap game was the Asian handicap. The Whitecaps are like corner kings, and I laid to 3.5. So here, corner spread. Miami's minus 2.5 on the corner spread tonight. That seems relatively. That seems fair.
Yeah, let me do a quick corner scan here.
Corner spread, Miami.
In St. Louis. Listen, give me a reason to watch this game. You'll like this game. I'm already up on the soccer slate today. I was betting the Arsenal friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Against Real Betis.
How many goals ended up in that game?
You know what's funny?
A lot.
Gabe, 4 goals in the first half, finished at 4. Nobody scored in the second half.
Because, I saw the in-game total was 5.5, and I was tempted to bet the under. Mm-hmm. I ended up, whatever, dude. Like, I do this during the day. I don't even remember who I bet on, Kevin, and I don't even think I could pronounce them. No, okay, so Fenerbahce, so I know Fenerbahce. I jumped in on an under 3.5 Fenerbahce against Sturm Graz, and the other one was Gornik Zabra against Fino Varosi TC. It was UEFA Champions qualifying. Okay. I hit the parlay. Both unders in game, plus 102. Under Beautiful. 3.5 and under 1.5. Yeah. So we're a little soccer action. We got a head start
Messi
last
got
night.
Me back in over 9.5 corners. Over 9.5 corners in this game. Now I got.
I went minus 2.5 corner kicks for Miami, and even though Messi's not really a pure goal scorer, he sets other people up. He still can score, and if there's a penalty kick, he's going to take the penalty kick. So I'm going to go with Messi to score first here at plus 200.
Does he make them for
Dear
Miami?
Dear God, his anytime goal score prop is minus 334.
It's a terrible bet. I think you and I can agree on that. I think that's a terrible bet.
Well, you got to bet the first, like it's either first or nothing then, right?
But
I'd rather bet plus 200 than minus 334. Like if he doesn't score first, he doesn't score first.
Stuff like that always drives me nuts, though, because if they had to offer the no, they would never give you plus 250 on him to not score. You'd never get that.
No.
It would drop massively. But they don't offer the other side, and it ends up, being priced the way it's priced.
It's like Ashton Genty
in the game. Come on.
Ashton Genty at Boise State. I remember one game, his touchdown prop against Hawaii was minus 2,200.
Oh, yeah.
Minus 2,200 for a touchdown score prop. So it got to the point with him where it was like, you can't, well, I was like, well, him to score first. I was like, nah, him to score first is minus 450. So it used to be with Genty, be like, all right, we got to bet like 2 or more type deal. You might get a decent number on 2 touchdowns. It was basically 3 or more, though, all the time.
Occasionally,
like over under 2.5 touchdowns.
Quarter. Because they would only post it for him. Like, it'd be like minus 110 for him to score in the first quarter. But you'd take it. And when he was running through the Mountain West, you had to take it.
I'm a fan of the college football first half touchdowns, bro. It was a big thing for me last year. Justice Haynes, Michigan, the running back's on Georgia Tech now, unfortunately. But same thing, Kevin. I was like, if he's going to score, he's going to score on one of the first drives. And I'd get like this nice plus 250 in the first quarter or plus 150 for first half along the go with his minus 125 for the game or whatnot. I was a fan of Justice Haynes. Liked him a lot. Great running back. Like, he really is. He's very Jahmyr Gibbs-like. Like, he's a stud, this kid. It all came down to money. He's a hired assassin. He left Alabama for Michigan for touches, and he told Michigan, hey, I'll stay, but I want $2 million. And Michigan had the number 1 recruit high school running back, Savion Hitter, coming out of high school. And they already have Jordan Marshall. They're already stacked at running backs. So they're like, nah, we're not going to pay another running back $2 million. We just paid this kid to come here. So he ended up at Georgia Tech, but he's going to do a lot of damage in the ACC, him.
Jordan Marshall was pretty good last year. I assume that's part of it. Marshall kind of took over that backfield, so I wasn't too surprised to see
it's a nice combo they have
out the door.
Savion coming in and Jordan Marshall. It's a nice 1-2 punch.
It's very interesting. Their offensive coordinator, you'll remember his name. It's escaping me right now, but he was brought into Utah with Devin Dampier to essentially, like, they were a package deal. You know what I mean? And obviously a lot of the attraction to Dampier was who he was as a runner. It'd be very interesting to see how they use Bryce Underwood on the ground. I know that was something that annoyed a lot of Michigan fans early season, that they weren't getting that out of their quarterback. I'm very curious to see what they do with Bryce. I am not yet sold on him as a passer. I understand he has all the high school pedigree in the world, but to me, I think he's going to have to be able to run in order to get Michigan to what some people believe their ceiling is.
I think he's very Cam Newton-like, right? He's got a cannon. He's one of these players. He's got a cannon. He can throw it, whatever, 90 yards through the air, and his accuracy is a problem. They didn't have a quarterback coach last year, so his footwork was terrible. Detmer's been working on it with them ad nauseum. Jason Beck is the guy you're talking about, the coordinator.
Yes.
So you've got Detmer, though, and it's always confusing with Coy and Ty, but I got Coy Detmer, quarterback coach. Jason Beck, offensive coordinator from BYU, comes over here, and that was the number one thing, right? They're going to run Underwood, and you can win with Underwood running the ball. He's so big, Kevin. He's literally 6'5", right? He's big. He's fast. Michigan, for whatever reason, last year kept him in the pocket and didn't want him taking off. Yet they did a lot of weird things, that coaching staff last year. So I would expect him. I'm expecting Underwood to have a big year this year with his legs. And they were talking, it was funny. Now their fall camp just opened yesterday, right? Like literally practice has just begun. And they're already talking about it, about deception and disguising things. And Michigan have been very, very secretive about what they're going to do. I look forward to seeing the offense that they put out on the field, Kevin, because the offensive line is stacked. The running back position is stacked. Andrew Marsh is a freaking stud. The wide receiver position, which has been a problem for pretty much ever, is like as strong as it's ever been. If we get an elite quarterback play, it's going to be a very solid offense. But let's not kid ourselves. The Kyle Whittingham team, they're going to be running the ball first.
My thought on Michigan, and I don't know where you'll land on this, as of today, is I think they're going to cover a lot of numbers. Like, they play Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. I feel very confident that they will cover 2 of those games. I am not confident they'll win any of them. It's a tough schedule.
It's a brutally tough schedule. But believe it or not,
I believe, Gabe, they will cover. That is what I believe. Whittingham will cover and keep them from getting their doors blown off against the upper echelon here in the Big Ten.
I think you're underselling them, personally. Like, where's their first loss of the season?
I'm referring to the Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State trio more than anything else. They also could, of course, lose week 2. We can talk more about this.
That's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet. I'm not going to dispute it, but the question is, where's their first loss?
Live right here on SportsGrid. We're, of course, following the live board. We're mixing in some of this football because it really is that time of year, right? I know a lot of people are dropping brackets. I think Gabe and I will do the same before the season gets underway. We'll give you a national championship, pick. I also think, I don't know how you this will land for you, Gabe, but a lesson I kind of learned last year, I had 2 national title bets. One of them was on Clemson, atrocious. One of them was on Ole Miss. It was a really good pick in terms of the price and everything, where if I think Notre Dame are going to win the national title, it doesn't mean I'm going to bet Notre Dame to win the national title. I think you were totally fair in saying, are you really going to get it that much better of a number on August 1st as you will on December 1st? I might hunt for a longer number on one of these other SEC teams or other Big Ten teams as opposed to playing the guys at the top here, trying to find some value, sneak into the playoff, and then kind of attack from there.
And I think one of these teams actually that is sort of being dismissed, and I think you're a part of that crowd, is Ole Miss, actually, Kevin.
I am.
There is a path. There is a path for Ole Miss to make the playoffs again. If you look at their schedule, it's manageable, right? They get LSU very early in the season. And, oh, yeah, it's a home game. That's going to be one of the most hostile return games in the history of football. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like, they're going to need, like, serious extra security.
Yeah.
People are going to be throwing things at them. Like, it's going to be over the top, like, hostile. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it play out. I like the fact that, listen, Lane Kiffin wasn't a defensive guy, right? Now their coach is a defensive guy. There'll be more of a focus. They spent a lot of money, Kevin, in the offseason addressing the defense. Golden knew, all right, I got to get a better defense going here. The offense will be fine, right? And I think one of the most underrated players or running backs in the country actually is Lacy. Who's it? Eddie Lacy. Great running back. Is it Kawan? Who's Eddie Lacy?
Eddie Lacy's the old Bama back. Big boy.
All right, thank
Green
you.
Bay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Eddie Lacy. I'm about to say Eddie Murray, one of my favorite baseball players. Yeah, Lacy. Big fan of him. Great, another solid running back. I think the offense is going to be fine. And I think that schedule, I think 7.5 is more. But, we talked about the discrepancies of the numbers of being the top 10 team in the country. They're ranked number 10, yet their win total is 7.5. Yet you look at their schedule, Kevin. I mean, Louisville are always that trendy team. Watch out for Louisville, blah, blah, blah. That's a dangerous first game of the year. I'm not going to dismiss it.
Yep.
Fun game, actually. September the 6th. Fun game. Louisville, Ole Miss. One of those sort of early showdowns. Yep. Charlotte at Ole Miss. I think it helps, Kevin, that you get Kiffin a couple of weeks into this thing, right? They're not, they haven't got their legs yet. They're fully, they're not fully going, although, they bring in Sam Levitt from Arizona State. I'm aware of the talent they have, but awesome game. They go to Florida after, toss up, but who are Florida? Ole Miss at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's day in the sun is done. Missouri at Ole Miss. It's at Ole Miss. Ole Miss at Texas becomes a huge game. Auburn at Ole Miss. Georgia at Ole Miss. And then, Ole Miss at Oklahoma, but then they end with Wofford and Mississippi State. Like, to me, it's a 9-10 win team, Kevin, this year, Mississippi. I think they're going to be good without Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I think it depends. A lot of it's the early season stuff, right, Gabe? I think you're right to call out that Louisville game is not Wofford, right? I mean, they're a favorite. They're not a 14-point favorite.
Well,
and if they get upset by
dangerous.
Louisville, right, like the early season results still matter. And look, they are a short favorite to LSU, but that'll change it, right? You follow LSU up with a couple of road trips. If the SEC is what the SEC is labeled, it's not going to be easy. Winnable, right? Probably as of today favored going to Florida, going to Vanderbilt, but it's going to be in the eye of the beholder for this Ole Miss team here. They're talented, of course. They lost a lot in the wide receiver room, so I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Trinidad Chambliss attacks this season. I worry for the kid that he fought too hard to go back to school. I think he really could have been a first-round pick. I really do.
Yeah, that's a completely other. That's like a hours long debate, and I don't disagree. I've never seen somebody protest going pro as much as he did.
Yep.
Whose stock was as high as it was ever going to be.
Right.
I mean, dude, you were basically, you know what I mean? Nobody believed in you. Nobody believed in you.
Quarterback draft class.
And you're small, right? You're a smaller dude. Nobody believed in you. You lit it up so much so that people are like, yeah, you know what? He's a top 15 pick. He's a top 20 pick. He's a first round pick.
Yep.
You know, strike when the iron is hot, kid. Is this one of his? Is he betting on himself, knowing that? Does he think I'm going to just light the SEC up again this year? Right now, and he did lose Lane Kiffin, right? So I think it helps him defensively, but offensively, you can't argue. They're going to be better without Lane Kiffin.
Certainly
Lane Kiffin might be eccentric. He might be this. He might be that. He is an offensive genius. He is a smart guy, right? 100%. So you can't. And they're running the same offense per se, but they're obviously going to take a hit. They're thinking the talent can override that.
Yeah. Gabe, I agree with everything you said there. And I think basically for me, because Lane is gone, I'm not sure I trust the offense as much as a Chambliss-Lacey combination suggest. If they had Lane, I mean, gosh, would their price be much different, right? If they had Lane Kiffin. Their win total would not be 7.5.
If they had Lane Kiffin coming back right now, that's why, to me, I got to bet it. Because I like Lane, but I think he's being overvalued here. I think you're bang on. Kevin, you're bang on. If Lane Kiffin was back with Chambliss and the players that they just signed and stuff, they'd probably be ranked like 5th in the country right now.
Yeah.
They'd be like right top 5. They'd be ahead of Georgia. They'd be like, oh, yeah, Texas and Ole Miss, man. These guys are they're lethal.
Yeah. But instead, Lane took their 2 best defensive players to Baton Rouge, and time will tell. Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey,
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is totally on him now and the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. You know, we've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Before we get to the WNBA, rocket ship starting out here with Inter Miami.
Yeah.
St. Louis opened the scoring 4 minutes in. Messi responds 6 minutes later. This game's 1-1
goal plus
right
200.
now.
Of course, he scores their first goal, but not the first goal.
Yeah. It turns out also me saying that the minus 330 bet was a bad bet, that was wrong. If you hit a minus 330 10 minutes into a soccer match, it was a good bet. You did make a good bet. So I was wrong about that. That game's off and running. As far as the WNBA goes, though, Gabe, 54-49. I thought about this over. I got gun shy. I left it on the table clearly. This game's trending over. The Dream lead by 5. Alyssa Thomas with another great game trending, 15-2-4. Kelsey Plum's not missed a shot yet. She's got 11. A little disappointing from Angel. 8 points is okay. 2 rebounds is not. But there's a lot of game left here. Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray have combined for 32. That's pretty impressive. High-scoring atmosphere right now in Atlanta, Gabe.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, when you look at the roster, I brought this up earlier of Phoenix, should be a competitive team, right? Alyssa Thomas, one of the best players and meanest players, if not the meanest player in the WNBA, as Caitlin Clark found out. You got Kalia Cooper. You bring in Kelsey Plum right now. Everybody's contributing. It just seems like, Kevin, they have some sort of like mini good chemistry going on right now. Bonner's got 7. Thomas has 15. And we talk about Thomas, just, pick your poison, what you going to do on a nightly basis. Cooper's got 8. We gave you guys Kelsey Plum over 14.5 points. She's got 11 points in the first half. As Kevin alluded to, she's 4 for 4 from the field. We played over 1.5 3-point shots made. I'd like to see her attempt more. She's only taken 1 3, but she's hit it. And she's 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And she hit a 3 to win the game in her debut the other day. Pretty much like textbook, like great debuts here, isn't it, for Kelsey so far, Kevin? And as far as the point spread's concerned, they're getting 6.5. They're hanging around. But what's the total now? We missed out on the original number. Do we dare jump in now at 189.5 when you consider they've already cracked 100? I mean, we're at 101 right now.
Yeah. That's kind of the... Usually,
It's not
Gabe,
like,
when these WNBA games are going, they're going, right? I feel like that's what we've seen. Like, I got burned a few times. You're like, this game's going to slow down. It just doesn't really slow down. It just keeps
The thing is,
going.
this could slow down and we can still win the bet. I like the fact that we essentially need 90 points here in a second. They just put up 101, and I'm asking for 90 here in the second. And we're going to see. Alyssa Thomas is a stat machine.
Price.
And you know Alyssa. If she's got 15 now, she might end up with 32 tonight. She's not going to let up. Like Phoenix they've had an underachieving season. It looks like they could be catching magic here in a bottle a little bit. At least I'm hoping. Point spread's 8.5 right now.
No, but Gabe, to your point, their next 2 games. Actually, no. Let's be more aggressive. Their next 4 games: at Connecticut, at Washington, neutral game against Los Angeles. I think the game might be like in California, but fine. The Sparks, and then Portland. I mean, those are
all teams that they can compete
and
against.
Washington,
exactly,
right? 100%. Like,
if you look at their roster, they'd say, you know what, we match up against we have more better players than a lot of these teams do. Just for the record,
really
Kevin,
fascinating, Gabe. Sorry, quickly.
Yeah.
They play the Mystics 3 times in their remaining games, and that's most likely the team they would need to catch.
It's not East-West, guys, just for people tuning in. It's not East-West in the WNBA. It's just top 8.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting wrinkle.
How about this game, though, Kevin? I want to get to this, but like the Wings and the Mystics, I was thinking it was an under. I was thinking it was an under again. These 2 teams just played. The Mystics are a big under team. The Mystics are a weird team, man. Like I said, look at the points tonight in this game. 195.5. So I just want to bring it up because it's just skyrocketing right now. We're still early in the second quarter. They've already put up 66 points right now with 9 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, a 59-point first quarter. Guys, that's good. You're betting an NBA game, you get 59 in the first quarter, you feel pretty good about your 228.5. All right? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
It was 165.5 the total tonight in this game. It's 30 points off the total right now. Like, this is one I can't chase right now just because there's such a massive difference. Like
No,
the
I
other one,
agree with
guys,
you.
it's like, yeah, you know what? They're already at 101, and it's 189.5 now. All right, that's a fair number. This is pretty ridiculous. Like, 196.5 now.
We'll update that Liberty game as well to break wrong. Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey, absolutely.
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is. It is totally on him now and the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. We've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, guys, picks on the board. Liberty Storm, 47-43 at the break. I have bet this Liberty team total quite a bit. We're getting a little bit of a discount live from the pregame number, 93.5. We're at 47, so they need to repeat that. How about these first half shooting numbers, though? 17 of 40 from the field, 3 of 15 from 3. They shoot even, normal from 3. We're going to steal some points here. The Storm don't go away, so we'll get starter minutes. I really like a live team total here, Gabe, with the New York Liberty against the Seattle Storm.
Yeah, this has been a go-to play for you, and it's been a go-to play for Kevin. I got 92.5 here, minus 125. Yeah, I'm going to jump in. We watch a lot of Storm games, and they don't stop anybody, but they don't stop scoring. So it'll force New York to keep on. I could see this game where it's going to end up 96, 97 type of thing they'll get to. I could see it in that range, 96, 87 or something. 100?
I wouldn't be stunned if they hit 100, right?
But with all that being stated, though, I'm going to double dip. I'm going to go over to 178.5 as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that
one
bit.
I'm going to go over because Seattle won't stop scoring. And Flo J. Johnson, she's played 14 minutes. She's 1 for 4 from the field. She's only got 2 points tonight. She's not going to get to 15, I don't think, but she's not going to stop, right? Malonga is pretty much unstoppable, Kevin. 6 for 10 from the field, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. It's funny, though. She's still a plus-minus -9. That's what I'm saying. Seattle are like a young team. They got a bunch of young, they got big, tall girls, and Flo J is like an explosive scorer. So they're almost like a classic, like young NBA team or something. It's like, yeah, they can score, but they can't stop anybody. Right? Like they're almost, like, I don't know, what's the comparison? Like in the end, they're not the Kings. Because I don't want to say, because Sacramento don't have the young talent that Seattle do.
Washington?
Yeah, maybe, huh?
Maybe the Wizards? Wizards play a lot of...
I was going to say, just a random, I saw Kendrick Perkins say the Wizards are the 5th best team in the East.
You know,
I
saw
say
that as
he's
well,
insane, but he picked the Raptors last year, and he was right? And he got heat for that. So I was like, I don't want to come at him. I defended him last year when he had a hot take that the Raptors were a top 6 team, and everybody came at him. But let's be real. And I know our boy Sam Yarnell had to be excited to see that, but are the Wizards a top 5 team? No, they are not.
No,
Trae
I
Young
don't.
and
I don't
Anthony
think
Davis.
so.
Come on, man.
Well, so see, that's kind of the issue with it, though, right? Is
and what's
those are
AD?
still
Like,
very
what are they doing?
talented players. Those are very talented players. Did you see poor AD, man? You know it's going to get used against him. Somebody said, how many games do you think you're going to play this year? He said 82. Again, what's he supposed to say? What's he supposed to say?
No, you should have said 70. He should have said 65 to 70. Like an honest
He should have just said, I'll be out there for every game I can. And I know people
I know. He shouldn't,
like that,
he shouldn't have responded
80,
all 82.
Guys, if Anthony Davis is healthy enough to play all 82, he won't play all 82. You know what I mean? Like, there's no chance. If you ask the book, can you post over under 81.5 games played for Anthony Davis?
The odds would be the same for me to play 82 games this year.
That's the other point. Nobody plays 82. Right?
No,
there's like
very
6
few
guys that play like 82
I don't know.
games.
There's a few, and some of these
How many
guys
do you
deserve
think played
credit.
last year?
There's
Let
a few
me see.
dudes,
I'll
there's a few Iron Men that do show up every day. But none of them are like, I don't want to say they're not good, but they're just sort of dudes that are in the league, right?
Yeah, it's not Shea Gilgeous-Alexander who playing all
Because like
82.
Kevin said, like they don't let you play the games. Now, you could argue that the player can argue with the organization and stuff, but what are you going to do? You're going to argue with the teams 15 times a year about this?
Hold on. I finally got
like
it.
every time
Right,
you're going to argue with them, like, you know
more
what I
than
mean?
I thought, Gabe. More than I thought.
No, my guess, Kevin, my guess
guys.
is like, I was going to say 23 or so. There's always
Really?
a list of like, yeah.
You want to know?
Am I wrong in saying, isn't Devin Booker pretty freaking consistent for a guy like for a star player?
I honestly think you're confusing him for Mikal Bridges because he's been doing the 82 thing since Phoenix. Like he does the Josh Allen. You know how Josh comes in, takes the knee, week 18? Mikal Bridges stands there for the tip. It's why Bridges' numbers, like he plays 1 second of an NBA game 82. He's been doing it for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I'm not down. Like Phil Kessel, a hockey player, had a consecutive game streak going. And I think his wife was having a baby, but he basically stepped on the ice, played a shift, and left after.
Oh,
and I'm like, dude,
for you.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, if you like, just say it was a hell of a run. The run's over. Like, you know what I mean? It was a hell of a run. I'm not going to bastardize this by like stepping my skate on the ice for 10 seconds and leaving the game after.
I don't know, 4th or 5th grade, we had to do a book report, and I would always find the sports section. So I pulled out the Cal Ripken book. And this is, again, maybe let's call it 5th grade Kevin, what my memory is. But I remember in the book, I think they basically said he would play like 5 innings so it would count so he could beat the Iron Man streak. And I remember being very angry about that because I didn't know any better. I was a Yankee fan, and I decided, like, Cal Ripken shouldn't even count. Like, this guy's a joke. This guy's a cheater. Like, that streak's not real.
I used to be more of a hot take guy years ago, and I think I had one that most selfish player ever. It was like not helping the team at all. And no, a lot of guys will tell you that though too, like that played. Right? They were there. They're like, they were like, dude, it was just about him and his streak. Like, even though he could be 0 for this or 0 for that, it didn't matter, right? It was about my streak, and give somebody else a chance too. It was one of those, the betterment of the club. Like, not everybody plays every day, right? Like, I get it. Lou Gehrig, that was the 30s, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's different. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's just, Lou Gehrig was sick. Like, that's the guy that, like, that's whose record he took. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, but some of these guys get obsessed with this stuff, right? Like, I dislike that more. I like your style, too, because Rick and I've always been sort of, kind of like, whatever. But I don't get mad, like, when dudes, like, pass the ball to themselves in an NBA game and stuff like that. They need a rebound, and like they'll brick it, boom, and they'll dunk it after. I'm like, everybody's done that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure Wilt at some point, like when he needed the 100 at some point, he was like, you know what? You know what I mean? Like, or he wanted to get like a triple-double. He was like, I'm going to miss this on purpose and just get this rebound and lay it in myself. Like,
I think, Gabe, it was last WNBA season.
Wemby doesn't do it deliberately, but Wemby's so good, Kevin. His handwork, which is insane, where Wemby misses a shot and comes flying in and tips it in.
Yep. Yeah,
he's not doing it for stats. Just like, God, you're fast. But like,
when you have a points rebound prop, an offensive putback is the greatest moment of your life.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're like multiple corner
like
kicks at once, Kevin. They're like multiple corner kicks at once.
Wait. Gabe.
Oh, Miami.
I'm sad you're not
Miami.
On it with
did
me.
They go on? Did they give a PK run here?
They
Miami
again.
scored again, so it's 2-1.
Yes.
No, but they're being out corner kick 3-0.
Yeah. San Luis had three corners in 2 minutes. They had it, Gabe. Miami could not get them out of the box. But can you believe this? There's no corners from Inter Miami. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, Miami have 2 shots on goal, and they've scored on both of them.
I know.
Now they're reviewing. They're reviewing. Yeah, they're reviewing it now.
Called back.
Is it officially called back? I don't know.
No. They've already called a goal back from them. So they might call another one back, but I don't think they are. I think this one's going to stand. But they could have 3 games. Like, that's the level we're talking about.
I said before the game, don't get cute with the total here and think the under. You can still. We'll look at final score props in game.
All right. Yeah. Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey,
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is totally on him now in the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. We've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
here on SportsGrid. Following the live slate, we're also welcoming in some more games here. Is there more soccer, Gabe, that you're trying to get your eyes on, or what's the deal?
Dude, I got my eyes on everything. I got my eyes on everything right now. We have a VAR, a potential penalty kick coming up in Inter Miami and Atletico St. Louis. We have the CONCACAF Under-20 Championships going on right now. We're to the 84th minute. I'm on Canada minus 120 and under 2.5. Canada up 1-0 right now. Winner goes to the semifinals. Mexico are coming up later. USA have already qualified for the semifinals. So some heavyweights getting it done in the CONCACAF Under-20. So far, USA have been dominant, man. They've scored like 11 goals, haven't given up a goal, but they've been in a pretty easy group and bracket. Yet they did make the semifinals, so we got our eye on that. And, Kevin, we got, soccer never sleeps, man. We got Argentinian soccer. The Argentina Liga is going on. Tigre and Belgrano are playing right now. Brazil State Championship action going on. But it was the game that I just wanted to just have my eye on to get a bet in on here. All right, Venezuela, here it is. CONCACAF Caribbean's Cup. CONCACAF Caribbean's Cup. I like games that matter, Kevin. You know what I mean? For totals?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's not like a friendly. It's not like, no, it's the Caribbean Cup, like CONCACAF. Like, I got it on the video here, too. There's literally nobody in the stands.
Oh.
There's about 80 people. There's a few people on one of the sides here. Yeah, I'm going under 2.5 here. Cavalier and Cibao FC under 2.5, minus 200 before this number gets out of hand.
All right, add it to the card. We got a live soccer under hitting the board. Let me update everybody on the Major League Baseball board while Gabe locks that in. I forgot about that scoreless. Yeah, I know. We're scoreless in Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. Yankees, Cardinals just getting underway after a rain delay. But we've got runs pretty much everywhere else. Scoreless Kansas City and Minnesota as well. Atlanta up 4-0 on Miami. So they actually did hit Yuri Perez a little bit. It wasn't just one swing. They kind of gradually got some runs on. Yeah. I didn't want to get in front of them, Gabe. I didn't think it was a great number. Like, Yuri Perez is good. I thought he was an interesting bet tonight, but so did the books, basically. So at that point, I kind of backed away.
So what's the total now? It's 8.5, though, still. It's tough. I got under 8.5. Like, I just got to hope that the Braves shut them down, right?
One side being shut out, you're not in a huge panic or anything like that.
I did take the Yankees. I couldn't resist, Kevin. I did end up taking the Bronx Bombers tonight.
I felt the same way, but I left it be. I was like, who can I throw him, in something with? But you know what? Let's just.
Red Sox up 2-0. Red Sox, we got a pitcher's duel, but it is 2-0 Sox, Red Sox over the White Sox. Top of 4 right now, but Chicago do have a runner on second with 1 out.
Good for that total. Phillies up 2-1 on Washington. Nationals back to reality, huh? 7 in a row they've lost. Might be an 8th right here. Sellers a little bit at the deadline. I mean, just call it what it is, right?
Nationals, but they got Stephon Diggs today.
Oh, it's a good point.
Yeah, not
Is
bad.
Is he playing center field?
DMV.
Playing third
I'm
base?
just stating some good news.
It's funny,
Are they
man.
the third? Are they the second best team? Are they the second best team? I think the Giants are still the worst team in the division. Like all this hype and stuff like that. And I don't think it's great news that Odell Beckham is skyrocketed your depth chart either. like I gotta say, I think it's a fun. And I'm an Odell guy.
You are an Odell guy. Famously, Super Bowl first touchdown. You are an Odell guy. I am not in on this Giants team. Here's the crazy thing with Stephon Diggs. I don't know what % of him being available was tied to his off-field stuff and what % of it was tied to on-field stuff, because he did produce
with
still
New
England,
Kevin.
and Washington desperately need wide receiver talent. I mean, they still need to find a way to get Brandon Ayuk out of San Francisco. So it's a huge boost. There are not many teams who have their eyes on the postseason that Stephon Diggs could do more for than the Washington Commanders. So it is a big deal. Like, it's not just in name. Like, he's better than Keenan Allen. He's better. He's more reliable than Brandon Ayuk is the way I'd call it. I don't know what Ayuk's going to be. It feels like he hasn't played football in like 6 years.
Far more
and he
reliable.
might be crazy.
Although Diggs does come with drama, but the drama usually comes in year 2 or 3 down the road. He's a perfect short-term player. And listen, I was a big Diggs fan. Loved him in Buffalo. Liked him in Minnesota, etc. Kind of thought that maybe he was losing a little bit of a step, but I think it was just more of a McDermott thing. His personality, McDermott, could not have been more polar opposite. And Diggs is just his own dude, right? Like you see with his personal life and stuff. Like, so he wasn't like him and Josh Allen weren't boys. Just you're my quarterback, whatever. I'm on this team right now. But he made plays for New England, man. He did. You can't dismiss it, right? He still has it. And as Kevin stated, they needed depth, right? You can't just count on McLaurin there all the time. So you throw in Diggs right now, it really gives Daniels just another professional wide receiver and outlet. And one thing with Diggs too, yeah, like he used to talk a lot and stuff about, give me the ball and all that type stuff, Kevin, but like he'll catch the ball over the middle of the field for you. Like he'll do like different things. Like he gets open. You know what I'm saying? He'll help your quarterback out. Like he's a professional wide receiver. He might be a drama in the room sometimes, but he's a professional wide receiver.
I think he had a little bit of a reality check, right? Listen, things did not end well in Buffalo. Bills fans, like, there's no reason to rewrite that history. That's what happened. It did not end well in Buffalo. He went to Houston. He got hurt, and he showed up in New England, and he was actually on field and in that locker room very professional. The Patriots
and a very
were full of good
positive
vibes.
force in the room. They were talking about him being one of the big leaders on the team. He was a big leader.
He was the leading wide receiver for a quarterback that was a vote away from winning league MVP. So Stephon Diggs is a help for a Washington team who Jaden Daniels entered last season almost a consensus top 5 quarterback. I thought that was a little ridiculous.
Can Washington's defense stop anybody, though?
I like their defense more than most. I think their defense can surprise this year. I think Dan Quinn's still a good coach on that side of the ball. I think Sonny Styles was an excellent
big fan of Stannis, I'll tell you that.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Just can't win the big game. He can't get us in the big game. Well, we got to let him go now because we're tired. We'll keep the quarterback. So, you know what I've been saying? Okay, you kept the quarterback. Guess what? Mr. Lamar Jackson, it's on you now.
Hey,
It's on you.
Absolutely.
Right? It's on Lamar.
It is totally on him now and the new coaching staff there.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. We've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live on SportsGrid, following along a number of interesting spots. I want to mention quickly a Cleveland Guardians team who had some early control over the AL Central, but find themselves in danger of a loss today, putting them under 500 for the first time since May 5th. So I don't know. I mean, this is a Guardians team who kept their heads above water, but they're just kind of dropping series now more frequently than not. Lost the first game to the Mets here. Were favorites to win it. And their next series, the two of them are so important. At Chicago against the White Sox, and this surging Detroit Tiger team. It's a Tiger team that have scored 8 runs in, I believe it's 7 consecutive games. They've won 4 in a row. The Guardians are going to have to turn this around because we mentioned it yesterday. The streaks can hit in either direction for these AL wildcard teams. Cleveland, no exception.
I don't want to put too much stock in run differential, but you look at Cleveland, 500 baseball team, minus 20 runs on the season. White Sox, plus 43 run differential. Detroit Tigers, plus 71 run differential, Kevin. Let's just call it out for what it is. The American League Central is the NFC South of Major League Baseball, right? It's, it's a train wreck. It is what it is. But, you're right. Cleveland, but every time you think Cleveland, are out of gas or they just don't have enough, they have that big series coming up, right? So as you stated, they play well against the White Sox. They sweep the White Sox. They take 2 or 3. They're sort of right there. Unbelievable what the Tigers are doing right now. I don't think they'll sustain this. Minnesota intrigued me, but they just never seemingly are able to consistently, and every time they win 2, 3 in a row, they'll lose 3 in a row, 5 and 5 in their last 10. It's a fascinating division. Who do you think is going to be the winner when it's all said and done?
I really think Detroit have something. They called up this kid, Max Clark. I want to be clear. I do not think that Skubal was an issue in their locker room. I'm not saying that at all. And I think they'd be better if they had Tariq Skubal and better if they had Casey Mize. But I do think this team knows they are better than their record. And just because Tariq is gone, there's no reason to give up on the season. And last year, if you'll all remember, Detroit was the team who got caught. If
oftentimes, Kevin,
double-digit games
not
in
that
front.
It was a problem. I was going to say, not that he was a problem, but oftentimes it's a relief finally when the drama's over for a team as well. Right? When there's this big there's this big cloud all the time. Is he staying? Is he not? And then there'll be people that'll be fractured in the room a little bit about, he really doesn't care about us, right? It's more about him. And, so, we talked about it yesterday. I brought it up. Sometimes you get these teams, they get that shot in the arm after. Can they sustain it? I got to tell you, for me personally, I'll say Cleveland still. I'm not, I think it's almost the time. Cleveland are regressing right now, but there's still enough baseball left that I don't think the White Sox are going to go wire to wire here. Like, I don't know if the White Sox are going to be able to hang on. Like, once it gets to September. The
Guardians have the easiest remaining strength of schedule in Major League Baseball. Easiest remaining.
I don't like to put too much stock in that, but I don't want to dismiss it since it helps my narrative.
but I mean, I don't know. Yeah. What are you worried? I'm going to tell you the Dodgers have the hardest strength of schedule?
No, I know. I understand. Yeah, I don't know. But often you got to play who you play. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I respect every team. Like, I'm
just saying, would you rather have the easiest or the hardest?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So they do. They have
like
the
easiest,
Reds technically the easiest
games.
schedule.
Yes, they do.
So I'm looking at the odds. I'm surprised there's odds up because often there isn't. They'll take down a division odds during the game or whatnot. Like, there's no value with the White Sox at minus 120 now. Like, you know what I mean? It's did they hang on? Like, just because you got a 3-game lead right now, that's not enough for me. Guardians are plus 210. Twins are plus 650. Your Tigers are plus 850. Big value on the Tigers. I don't buy into the Twins. I don't think the Twins can string it together.
No. The Twins are on a 3-game losing streak. Let's see. Have they scored yet in that game with Kansas City? No, they have not. I mean, I wonder if the Twins are going to regret convincing themselves they should have been buyers at a deadline. They really, really planned on being sellers just because they won a couple of baseball games against the Athletics and Royals.
Yeah, you know
That's
what,
how
though?
you trick yourself.
Their owner is rich, so yeah, I'm not going to hate them for whatever, trying to win.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
They come in a lot more better prepared to play than, say, we did, having to learn some of the things that we learned coming into the NFL that we weren't learning in college. A lot of these kids are getting quarterback coaches, you know, as far back as junior high school and all the way through high school into college. So I think the position is a lot more stronger than it's ever been.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on the grid. Tomorrow, we start at 8 p.m. Eastern as we get set for the Hall of Fame game, NFL preseason action between Carolina and Arizona. And this is a game that I know, Gabe, you said, hey, why wait? Let's get out in front of this. You've already placed a couple of picks for Cardinals-Panthers.
I did, and you know, with the news of now Jeremiah Love not playing in this football game, I already like Carolina as it was coming into this game. I like the fact that we have a continued coaching staff. I like the fact that Canales is a raw, pretty serious dude. I do believe that Kenny Pickett is playing for something. He's playing for his NFL life and his career. So when they said that Kenny's excited for the opportunity to start the Hall of Fame game, I buy into that. Arizona seemingly have had a pretty sloppy camp. They are, you know, nobody's playing. They're sending the message pretty clearly that they don't care about this football game. You look at a quarterback situation. You have Carson Beck coming in, and, you know, we saw Carson Beck was plagued with drop passes when he was with the Georgia Bulldogs. A little bit different with Miami, but he's a drop back, pocket quarterback here. So, if, you know, guys aren't going to be open, stuff's going to break down. He's not really going to be able to take off. And I don't think they really want him to take off and get killed, actually. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. You got Keaton Slovis is going to be playing, who's Kurt Warner's, like, nephew, who I kind of liked in college and stuff, but, I don't know, whatever. And then you got Haynes King on the other side. So I got Kenny Pickett and Haynes King, Kevin. And I like Haynes King, and I like the fact that when plays break down, he's the type of guy I want in a preseason game. He's going to run around. He's going to make plays. He's going to do whatever it takes to get his ass into the end zone. He's going to, like, kill himself to try to win this football game, Kevin. This is, like, going to be the highlight of his life, basically.
I think the struggle with, and it's early, maybe we'll get some more information tomorrow, for me is I assume Beck will play the entire first half. I don't know if Kenny Pickett will. Kenny Pickett is the legit backup quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, he probably plays 2 drives, to be honest. The first quarter type thing.
Yeah. He's going to start, but, when you play in the Hall of Fame game, you have a full extra preseason game. So they don't need Kenny Pickett to go out there and play a half of football. And then, you know what I mean? He's not going to play that much preseason football.
No. He's going to, listen, he's going to get 2 or 3 drives. He'll get 2 or 3 drives, depending on how they go, right? If he marches them down the field and scores a touchdown, they might take him out of the game right after.
They might.
Right, that's the thing with preseason. This is why in-game. I remember famously, years ago, it was Tom Brady, and Brady was still younger, and it was the Patriots in a preseason game, and Brady was starting. And it was one of those, first preseason games. And one of those, I'm Tom Brady, I'm different than everyone else. No, and he told Belichick, no, I'm playing. And it was even, pouring rain and stuff. And I slammed the under, Kevin. And Don Criqui, who's a legendary announcer, Don Criqui's seen it all. Don Criqui was doing the Patriots preseason games on TV at the time. Might still be doing them, actually. And Criqui said, in my 40 years of doing games, I've never seen rain like this before, right? And I'm like, oh, God, yeah, it's a preseason game. They're not going to want to get anybody killed. It's 39.5 or something. Freaking Tom Brady threw a pick 6, Kevin, on his first play of the game type thing. So Brady drops back, throws a pick 6. Belichick tells him, all right, that's it. And Brady basically told him, no, that is not it. I am not going out like that.
Yeah.
Brady stayed in, Kevin, threw 3 touchdowns in the first half type thing.
Oh, that's tough.
The Patriots, even in preseason in the old days, were you don't really know what they're going to do. They might run the score up. They might not care. Right? It was one of those deals, but it's a good point that you bring up. Arizona will have their chance to get their first win at home and stuff in a preseason game. I think this is going to be a pretty patchwork operation for them.
Yeah, I think the total's always interesting when you talk Hall of Fame. Just preseason football, 35.5 is the number we're seeing right now. So people kind of go back and forth on, do I lean on previous Hall of Fame games? Do I lean on these coaches? Well, you don't have anything to go off of with the Arizona coaches because it's a whole new staff. Now, you can think about what they did, what they're, who they're coming from, right? And how they leaned, but that throws, a lot of this kind of up in the air. You can look at Carolina, but again, the situations are different, right? For Carolina in the preseason, year over year. Now, I will tell you this is a head coach in Dave Canales who's not had preseason success. And, it might be on his mind. I think he's 1-5 in preseason. Some coaches don't care. Some, especially when you have a point to prove.
They've never played Bryce Young
with a win.
Bryce Young in his career, Kevin, off the top of my head, he has played very little in the preseason. In his career. And I remember thinking, really, if there's anyone that should probably get some reps in the past before, but I think it's his size. Right? I think they're just no, we're not going to risk it. I actually like Bryce Young. I think he's going to get better this year, too. Like I said, I'm kind of bullish on Carolina coming into the year. Like you said, does past history mean anything? I mean, one thing, guys, a lot of these preseason games, they get really ugly in the second half. But the ugliness lead to points often because the quarterback will fumble the snap. He'll get sacked and he'll fumble the ball, right? There'll be a bunch of penalties that's going to push a team backwards, and the other team's going to get great field position. So, a lot of people sort of think, it's an automatic under in these games. It really hasn't been. Last year, it was a 34-7 final score. The year before, it was 21-17. The year before that, it was 21-16. We had a 27-11. And in fact, we have to go all the way back to August 5th, 2021, Kevin, that we had an under 16-3 final score.
I might play under then.
I don't, and it's funny you say that because I don't trust these offenses and these teams and these quarterbacks to put points up. It's going to be a lot of running the ball tomorrow.
Yeah, it's interesting that Jeremiah Love's not going to play. It's a good sign. We'll probably get into this a little bit more tomorrow. The Arizona running back room is signing Tyler Algier is basically a threat to people's happiness. How you could sign Algier and then proceed to draft Jeremiah Love.
For fantasy football players, Algier's going to poach a lot of touchdowns because that's what he does.
But Gabe, but here's the thing. It's not that he was poaching it from a guy. He was poaching it from Bijan Robinson. And Jeremiah Love is supposed to be in that class of running back. We'll see how it works out. But it's not like he's poaching them from it's like, oh, he was in the way of the superstar rookie running back Bijan. And now that Bijan's an established star, Algier's watch has ended. Let me go get in the way of another superstar rookie. What is that? How is that? How are you as an organization making those decisions? Those are bad decisions. And don't tell me, well, we didn't know Jeremiah Love was going to be there. What, you didn't know Jeremiah Love was going to be there? You had a third pick. Mendoza was going first. You didn't know Jeremiah Love was going to be there? That bothers
Arizona.
Me. It does.
Arizona is one of the worst run organizations in sports, though. Let's call it out for what it is. They are, right? And they have been. They get some draft picks right, but it doesn't matter, right? You know, it never comes together, and they break the will of their players. They just sort of tune out after a couple of years there. They change their direction and game plan all the time. Very cheap ownership group. I could go on. Like it's just one of those, they're just a poorly run franchise. And I want to get into it a bit because I see the Jeremiah Love, and I think he's a great running back, but it's hard to succeed as a young running back in the NFL, all right? It's not college. It's a completely different world. And I think Arizona are going to be so bad. I don't see like that Jeremiah Love will win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
We'll talk about those objects.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
They come in a lot more better prepared to play than, say, we did, having to learn some of the things that we learned coming into the NFL that we weren't learning in college. A lot of these kids are getting quarterback coaches, you know, as far back as junior high school and all the way through high school into college. So I think the position is a lot more stronger than it's ever been.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Game live on SportsGrid tomorrow. We are here for the Hall of Fame game, which will sadly not feature the offensive Rookie of the Year favorite in Jeremiah Love. I'll use the odds in front of me. I've got Love at plus 420, Mendoza plus 470, Cornell Tate, Jadarian Price, and Jordan Tyson round out the top 5. And I think factoring in the projections of Arizona record-wise and a potential limited ceiling due to running back room competition, you're absolutely fair to question Love's price. I would use a similar logic, despite being super in on the player, to question Fernando Mendoza's price. He is not starting week 1 for this football team, and the Raiders are not supposed to be very good. So I think, Gabe, the first 2 options on the board for offensive Rookie of the Year have some holes in their status.
I agree 100%. Like I said, I am a big fan of Love. I think he's a great running back. He was a great college running back, and he has the potential to be a great NFL running back. I don't know if this is the best situation for him. I know some people think it is. They're so bad, he'll get touches. Yeah, they're so bad, they're going to be trailing all the time as well. So you have a rookie running back on a bad football team. Kevin brought up Algiers in the house now as well. He's going to jump in and poach numbers and touchdowns. They're going to manage Love. They're not going to want to run him into the ground in his rookie season either, just to win 3 or 4 football games. And I'm in complete agreement with you as far as Mendoza is concerned. And Kirk Cousins is starting, and I got to be honest with you. I like Mendoza in college, but there's a difference. Mendoza was a number 1 draft pick by default, actually. Like, I don't really think it was I don't think Mendoza's going to be a great NFL quarterback. Right? I think, he might be okay or whatever, but I don't think he's going to light the league up or anything, Kevin. So there's a difference between being popular in college and successful in college and in a National Football League. Like, J.J. McCarthy won a national championship, too, and went undefeated. Right? He's battling for a job right now.
I mean, don't compare McCarthy to Mendoza. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's
just facts.
Well, JJ, yeah, I mean, right, but JJ obviously didn't win or come close to winning the Heisman. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? Look at Mendoza's numbers. They weren't even that good, Kevin, in college.
No.
He didn't even throw that many touchdown passes.
Stop. That's not true.
I'm welcome to my opinion. He's not that good, Kevin. I'm telling you right now. He's not that good. He was a great college quarterback. He's going to be an NFL bust. You asked me my opinion, and I'm telling you right now.
You're absolutely right that you are entitled to your opinion. Certain things are not an opinion. Mendoza's numbers side by side with McCarthy's numbers. Fernando Mendoza threw 41 touchdowns last year. That's not an opinion. J.J. McCarthy threw 49 in his career.
Yeah, but one of them won a national championship running the football. It's a little bit different. Right? My point is, Kevin, you can be a star quarterback. Ask Cam Ward. It doesn't mean you're going to be a star quarterback in the NFL. And it's even worse with a running back. Like, I don't think Ashton Genty's ever going to be a star in the NFL. I think he's okay. I don't think he's, like, special. So that's my point about Love. I would never bet a running back on a bad team to be Rookie of the Year. And then secondly, you get into Mendoza. He was number 1 by default. And they're going to regret the draft pick. Kirk Cousins blows, and they're starting Kirk Cousins over him, for a reason. I mean, maybe people think there's going to be this Brady sort of magic over the years and groom him and all this type of stuff, but I think Orlovsky was right, actually. Orlovsky got a lot of heat. And listen, I wasn't in love with Ty Simpson as much as Orlovsky was, but I think Orlovsky in watching a lot of what Mendoza did and saying, I don't see a lot of this working in the NFL. Right? Like, what did he do against the Miami Hurricanes in a championship game? He struggled. That's what he did. He made a couple of plays with his legs running late in the football game. And Miami's is close, like that's in a kind of an NFL type defense. So Mendoza's not going to play much. He's going to blow up.
He threw 8 touchdowns with 5 incompletions against Oregon and Bama in the rounds prior. I mean,
that's good, Kevin. I don't care. So did Vince Young. Vince Young was better than Mendoza was. How was he in the NFL?
I understand. Right, okay. I understand that. But you're sitting
I don't care what he did in college.
Fernando Mendoza.
I don't care.
Well, you're also
I really
trying to say
don't
that
care.
he wasn't that good in college, which is
I don't
wrong.
care. He was
That's
on a great
fine.
team. Yeah, he's not a great NFL quarterback, Kevin. He won't.
I think he will be. I
really
think he will
don't.
be. I think he will.
All right. Well, bet him to be rookie of the year then.
I'm not, because I don't think he's going to play that much.
You think? Well,
Just
why not?
I've told you many.
If he's so good, how come he's not going to play?
Because they have a plan.
The Raiders have a plan to suck for 50 years? That's their plan?
They have new
and
people in
some
charge.
Trump card you're going to pull out now?
No, it's not a Trump card, Gabe. We've talked about it before. Like, you can try and bait me into something, but I'm well prepared for the conversation. I believe them that they plan on starting Kirk Cousins all year long. I've said that many times.
I don't think. You're insane if you think Kirk Cousins is going to survive more than a month. Mendoza will be starting.
Gets hurt. By the way,
Mendoza,
if that happens, then Mendoza has a great chance to an offensive rookie of the year. Tyler Shuck almost won it last year, starting half the season on a Saints team that did not make the playoffs. That's a real thing that really happened. I bet the market. I had Ted McMillan, and I nearly lost the bet to a quarterback.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck might be a better NFL quarterback than Mendoza will be, though. He's a different quarterback. Tyler Shuck is a much better passer than Mendoza is.
I do not agree with that slightly.
You're
entitled to your you're entitled to your
and
opinion.
I think Shuck is about to have a breakout career, actually. I think the Saints saw something knowing, we don't need these other quarterbacks. Kellen Moore knows quarterbacks well. And, I think everyone thinks they're in love with Arch Manning type deal but the Saints aren't going to get Arch Manning because they're not going to be the worst team in the NFL, right? The Saints will actually win games this year, and I don't think they'll have the opportunity. But my pick actually is a running back who I think has a good chance of actually winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he's on a good team. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a running back and you land on a good team, you're in an ideal situation. You're a running back or a quarterback, you land on a bad team, you're in a terrible situation.
We'll take a quick break. There's more Notre Dame love coming from Gabe, and we'll get you the rest of the picks.
We'll see.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
They come in a lot more better prepared to play than, say, we did, having to learn some of the things that we learned coming into the NFL that we weren't learning in college. A lot of these kids are getting quarterback coaches, as far back as junior high school and all the way through high school into college. So I think the position is a lot more stronger than it's ever been.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
quickly before we get to the remainder of these picks, I want to hear it. And, Gabe was basically saying can't trust a young Notre Dame running back. Gabe, your right now pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year
is a young Notre Dame running back.
That's right.
You know what? I got two of them, and the other one will make you happy too. Mekhi Lemon. To me, the two most dangerous, to me, just from a betting perspective. I like Jordan Tyson a lot too, but I'm not going to get too crazy here. Jadarian Price in a great situation with an offense that runs the football all the time, with a situation with Zach Charbonnet who gets hurt all the time, right? Price really could step in and rush for like 1,200 yards this year and, a bunch of touchdowns, etc. And it could be by default. I don't think Mendoza's going to play much. I don't think, or he will. If he does, Cousins gets hurt and he's going to struggle. I don't think Love is any value there. And I'm not buying in a Carnell Tate. I don't think there's enough value there either. So for me, Kevin, and also, if, an injury happens in Philadelphia, Lemon really could be counted on. I'm a big Lemon guy. I was a big fan. I watched every USC game. I liked all their wide receivers, actually. They were all pretty good. But Lemon is a stud. You know what? I don't want to be cliche, Kevin, and say he reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he kind of does. Like, he finds a way of making plays, this kid. And he'll go like in the middle of the end zone in a slant type thing and catch one-on-one. He just makes plays. So I can see him putting some numbers up, but those are my two. So despite that, I vehemently disagree with you with Mendoza, and I think I'll be proven correct over the years, as I usually am. Mm-hmm. But I have to say Notre Dame or a Philadelphia Eagle player are going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, look, I think from my perspective, you really saved it with those two breakdowns. Here's the funny thing about me though, Gabe, right? Is I really remove all biases aside. You mentioned about an injury happening. I think the Ty Simpson ticket is very valuable. If Matt Stafford's back does not hold up, Ty Simpson immediately becomes the Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite. That's just the reality of it. Sean McVay's his coach, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams are his wide receivers.
They'll get somebody to play. It won't be him.
Oh, now you want to talk about the funniest thing that would happen in the history of football.
They'll bring someone in.
If Stafford gets hurt and they don't give the job to the kid they took 13th, they might as well cut him.
They brought Baker Mayfield in on 2 days. Like, they'll go with a vet type thing. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to hand off this.
Stafford gets hurt,
keys to the Super Bowl.
They don't give him the job.
Simpson's not the guy.
He's the worst pick in the history of football. If Stafford gets hurt and they don't give him the job, he's the worst pick in the history of football.
I don't think it was a good. Like, it's hard to question the Rams and what they do, but it was a stupid pick.
Everyone knows it too. And just because you mentioned it a few times,
he shouldn't have been drafted that high, personally. But
no, everyone knows it. And
Dan Orlovsky, though, back to my Orlovsky and the Mendoza, like, he was adamant that Simpson's better than Mendoza is, or will be in the NFL.
And then you know what Orlovsky said after it? He goes, "You don't think McVay's going to make this work?" So now it's no longer about the process. It's just Sean will figure it out. It's just Sean's going to figure it out, and that's going to work out for me, which is not really the biggest ringing endorsement that he thinks it is. We've only got about a minute or so left here, Gabe. What do you have for the night slate here across the sports world?
You know what? We're kicking it LA style tonight. LA Sparks and the Sky, two highest scoring teams in the WNBA. Believe it or not, it doesn't really feel like they are, but they actually are. Both the biggest over teams in the league. So we're going to go over 186.5 there. I'm going to go with Hamby, 15 or more points tonight. And LAFC and Chivas, Guadalajara are playing tonight in Los Angeles. You know, that's going to be a wild atmosphere. Got to believe there's going to be some goals. I'm going over the 2.5, Kevin, minus 147. And just quickly, I took Carolina in the first half tomorrow, money line, and I took Carolina in the game on the money line as well.
I am very, very excited to bet that game and watch that game tomorrow with all of you, of course, with Gabe, right here on SportsGrid. That's exactly what we are going to do. What we're also going to do, though, is try and grab a couple of points here at the end from the New York Liberty. You know, we got a few bets out right now that sometimes you have a loss, you move on. Sometimes you have a win, you move on. There's a few of them where I don't really know what we have here, Gabe, right? And like the corners in this Inter-Miami game.
I was sweating El Kelsey Plum, bro, getting to 15 at least. She got to 19. Better late than never. She's only hit 1 3, but she does have 19 points.
Yeah, it's funny. Reese has stayed out there trying to get the double-double, but it's probably not going to happen for her. All good things will come to an end. That one has, but we'll be right back tomorrow to do it again for some NFL football.
Let's rock.
I'd be looking to sell Louis Varland at this point just because his success has been great, but I'm also worried about how many more opportunities he's going to have given the dynamic of where the Blue Jays sit in the standings. You know, we've heard some rumors that they may be wanting to trade Jeff Hoffman, and it could open up a lot of opportunities for Louis Varland, but there's also nothing pushing the Blue Jays to continuously have out a great player when they're fighting for nothing when it's all said and done.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Philly had issues elsewhere last year that were on full display in the playoff game against the Niners. They couldn't move the ball all game, and then they got in a 2-minute hurry-up drill, and they walked right down the field. Guys, Tom Brady would do Eagle games. Every single week he'd go, gosh, if they do some hurry-up. And then immediately they'd do some hurry-up, 2-minute warning, and they'd look like a completely different football team.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
The show is about